Good morning, Uganda. Welcome back from down memory lane, and also welcome back from yesterday's Martyrs' Day celebrations, whichever way you celebrated and from wherever you celebrated. Now, it's the 4th of June 2026. Today is the State of Nation Address Day. We'll be at Kololo Independence Grounds at 2 p.m. as His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni addresses the country on the state, addresses the nation on the state of the country, and telling us the progress of the country and the progress that we continue to make as the country. That is as informed, especially on his X handle, and it's one thing that you will be able to watch and follow through here on UBC TV. But you're welcome. You are watching UBC TV. We come to you live from the Nile Avenue. My name is Julie F. Nantaba with Robert Chirabo Nyonyitana. Robert, good morning.
Lovely morning to you, Julie, and our viewer. Thank you very much for waking up with us this lovely day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. But of course, it depends on how you view things. Okay. If you have a positive mindset, if you're ready to work, if you know that negative things may come your way, but there is light at the end of the tunnel if you use the right methodologies to sail through. So welcome to the show. And yesterday, as we were celebrating the 140th Martyrs anniversary, it was very unfortunate that many people were not able to celebrate the usual way, but of course for a justified cause. Now, I followed Martyrs at Namugongo. Right. And what was interesting, the usual traffic congestion, the deployment, the police officers had so free time. The business people, I was shocked that even when people knew that Martyrs' Day is not going to be celebrated as usual, they still brought merchandise to sell. You know, Julie, they still brought merchandise to sell. Now, already you know, we are going to have Martyrs' Day celebration. If the usual way, why would you go? And this is something that His Excellency declared quite some time back. He did. Indeed, he did. Staying with Martyrs' Day, the Daily Monitor has run the story there in that reads, Uganda martyrs were traitors, says Maiga. Well, I want to look at it this way. By then, Kabaka Mwanga would view, and some people view martyrs as people who rebelled against the Kabaka. Who rebelled against the Kabaka. But you should not forget that the missionaries to come to Uganda were invited by a Kabaka of Uganda. Yeah. Now, one saw light and future in Christianity and civilization. The other saw an obstacle. An obstacle and a threat to his leadership. So that's why we can't conclude like that, because these missionaries were invited by a Kabaka of Uganda still, not so? Now, they're executed on orders. Mukajanga worked on orders of the Kabaka of Uganda. Right. Remember, he who invited them had them around, and their developments we see. The one who came next, who could have poor management skills, and so fearful of losing his throne, did not ask himself, but how come my father had these people present with him? So to him, he saw them as people who were disobedient, people who were a threat to his leadership, and therefore they had to be eliminated. But there is power in death, even in the Bible. Jesus, if he had not died, there wouldn't be Christianity to this magnitude. If the martyrs were not executed, wouldn't have this magnitude. So I've learned that whenever you kill, you don't silence. That's very true indeed. Now, in that same spirit, Robert, I believe there's a story somewhere, somewhat on the local updates regarding Martyrs' Day. Take us away. Well, we begin with the celebrations in Lubaga Cathedral, where the Archbishop of Kampala Archdiocese, His Grace Paul Semogere, lashed out at illicit enrichment and exploitation tendencies that have come to characterize the national politics, urging Christians to emulate the selflessness, life exhibited by the Uganda Matters Semogere in a sermon during Uganda Matters Day celebrations held at Rubaga Cathedral, also urged Ugandans to observe standard operating procedures to curb the Ebola outbreak. In a place usually filled to capacity on such a day, the church was only half full, with visible spaces maintained in strict observance of the Ebola prevention guidelines. Each faithful who managed their way to the cathedral first underwent temperature screening and hand sanitization. Archbishop Semoge led the homily, drawing his message from John 12:24 to 26, which teaches that unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains alone. He said the Uganda Matters demonstrated a life of selflessness, resilience, and courage from which millions continue to draw inspiration. The Archbishop urged the faithful to uphold integrity, honesty, and values that place the common good above personal interests. He criticized politicians who amass illicit wealth and exploit others for selfish gains, calling on leaders to embrace service above self and prioritize the marginalized. He expressed confidence that Uganda would overcome the current Ebola outbreak and urged all citizens to observe the Ministry of Health guidelines. The scientific prayers at the Anglican site in Namugongo were held under tight Ebola standard operating procedures, whereby every individual could take about 5 minutes to be cleared. Only 200 were invited, and that excluded journalists and made them to be blocked for several minutes before they were cleared. At the amphitheater, prayers kicked off at 9 a.m., led by the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, His Grace Stephen Kazimba Mugaru, who preached against segregation on tribal, religion, and political basis. He tasked government to prioritize national health insurance once the oil money starts flowing. He also preached on the significance of the death of the martyrs and against any planned move to change the name of the site from Namugongo to Nachiyanja. The government was represented by the newly appointed Minister for Public Service, who said the death of the martyrs should challenge faithful to learn how to spare time for God and sacrifice for the country. This year's Scientific Matters Day celebrations were held under the theme, Christ our Peace, Breaking the Walls and Healing the Nation. Now let's look at Ebola updates. As of June 3rd, this very year, the Ministry of Health in Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda have reported the following Ebola outbreak figures. In DRC, 344 confirmed cases, 60 confirmed deaths, and 116 suspected cases. In Uganda, 15 confirmed cases, 1 confirmed death, 12 recoveries and discharged, and 668 contacts currently under follow-up. Current areas affected. To date, the Ebola outbreak in the DRC has been confirmed in the province of Ituri, North Kivu, and South Kivu. Cases linked to the DRC outbreak have also been reported in Uganda's capital. Health authorities continue to monitor the situation closely and urge the public to remain alert, following preventive measures and seek medical attention promptly if symptoms develop. The organization responsible for refugees in Uganda has announced that it will not receive any more refugees until the government of Uganda reopens the border crossings between Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo. On the 28th of May this year, authorities in Chisoro closed the Uganda-DRC border point of Bunagana, Mupaka, Nyabushenya, and Nteko as measures to protect Ugandans from contracting Ebola, which is in the parts of the DRC. Jimmy Oranga, the head of the refugee agency in Kisoro district, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, confirmed this and said that there are currently 792 refugees remaining at Nyakabande Transit Center. He added that they will be transferred to Nakivale settlement next week. He said that since the 28th of May this year, they have not received any new refugees. He adds that any refugees who are leaving their settlements in Uganda and returning to the DRC despite knowing that there is conflict and Ebola outbreak will not be allowed to return. He warned that anyone who returns to the DRC will not be allowed back into Uganda. Oranga added that once Uganda reopens the border, the organization will resume receiving refugees. They, however, have not recorded a single case of Ebola among the refugees. Refugees had been entering through the Bunagana, Mupaka, Nteko, and Nyabushenga border points. They were first taken to Nyakabande and later transferred to refugee settlements such as Ramanja and Nachivali. And that brings us to the end of our local stories this morning. Let's see what Julie has for us on the international scene.
Right, thank you very much, Robert. On the international scene, we're starting off with the U.S. House of Representatives that passed a measure that seeks to hold President Donald Trump from taking further military action in Iran. The 215 to 208 vote was successful after 4 Republicans joined Democrats in a rare public show of disapproval of the war, which began in February. This is the 4th attempt by the House to rein in Trump's war powers, which critics say lack congressional approval. The House resolution still needs approval from the Republican-controlled U.S. Senate. Even if it were successful in the Senate, the measure is still unlikely to fully curb military action against Iran. Trump could veto the measure, which would require a 2/3 majority in both chambers to nullify. The Senate advanced a similar resolution in May after 7 previous failed attempts, but it has yet to reach a full floor vote. In the House, Republicans Thomas Macy and Brian Fitzpatrick, as well as Tom Barrett and Warren Davidson, joined a united front from Democrats to pass Wednesday's resolution. Democrat Jed Golden of Maine, who had previously voted against similar measures, gave his support this time. Now, Israel and Lebanon have agreed to the implementation of a ceasefire. The U.S. State Department has announced in a statement the agreement is contingent on a complete cessation of attacks from the Iranian-backed armed group Hezbollah, among other conditions. It comes after Israeli strikes killed at least 9 people in southern Lebanon on Wednesday, and Hezbollah fired rockets into northern Israel, testing a shaky truce initially agreed in April. All countries reaffirmed that the future of the relationship between Israel and Lebanon must be decided by the 2 sovereign governments. They rejected any attempt by any state or non-state actor to hold Lebanon's future hostage. The statement said the agreement is also contingent on the evacuation of all Hezbollah operatives from an area Israel controls in southern Lebanon, from the Litani River to the border. The statement said the U.S. would help guide the creation of pilot zones in which the Lebanese armed forces will take exclusive control of the territory, to the exclusion of all non-state actors. Now on to the continent. A court in Nigeria has sentenced 4 men to death for attacking a church in the southwestern Ondo state in 2022 in a case which sent shockwaves across the nation. 41 worshippers were killed and more than 100 others injured when they opened fire at the St. Francis Catholic Church in the town of Owo during a Pentecost service. The court in the capital, Abuja, also sentenced the men Idris Abdulmalik, Omeiza Al-Qasim Idris, Jamiu Abdulmalik and Abdulahim Idris to 20 years in prison for belonging to a terrorist group. Presidential assent is required before any death sentence is carried out in Nigeria. There have not been any executions in the country for several years. Judge Emeka Nwite, who presided over the case, said the evidence presented against them was neither shaken nor contradicted during cross-examination. He had ordered an accelerated hearing after the high-profile trial commenced in August 2025. In his judgment, Justice Nwite said that the prosecution had approved their case beyond reasonable doubt, as they had brought before the court witnesses who saw the attack, including one who testified to recognizing two of the defendants as attackers. Hence, this court finds the first to fourth defendants guilty of all 9 counts, he added. Now, that's what we have on the foreign scene, but the dailies have their own stories to tell as well. Robert, what does the New Vision carry for us this morning?
Well, the New Vision, Bank of Uganda sets cash withdrawal limits. That is the New Vision this morning. And still, what Ugandans want Museveni to tackle. That is the State of Nation address today, what Ugandans want Museveni to tackle. And Ebola, 125 contacts cleared, no plan for lockdown. Good news to Ugandans there. And Matters Day, clerics call for end to corruption. And there are pictures there of what happened in Namugongo. And still looking at the New Vision, over 180 tenders, opportunities in various sectors. So that is the reason you should get yourself a copy of the New Vision this morning. Now let's go to the Daily Monitor and what you need to know about Ebola, Bondibujo. That is the strain. Then uncovering contradictions in Muganga's citizenship. Why Banandi?
Have you followed his Twitter? Sorry, X handle.
Yeah, but
it's
sometimes
quite the event going on there, especially between Dr. Muganga and Honorable Tayebwa in particular. It's quite a lot going on.
And soon are Uganda's great expectations, how Christians celebrated Martyrs' Day countrywide. And widow claims late husband's land after 2 decades of exile. Women and property.
She was in exile.
2 decades, that is 20 years. But what happens to property when someone dies? I'm still asking, why do we yearn so much for property of these people, even if we were not? Like, for example, the kids. You see them go, maybe the widows, for them they could have contributed something. Then also sometimes family members. Judy, today you're waking up very, very early to come and work. By 4 you're up.
Right.
4:30 you're on the road. 5 you're here. Now just imagine a relative of yours.
That's why it's important to have everything planned out. And
they're even willing to fight.
Such is the world. Anyways, let's have a look at what the rest of East Africa has. And Tanzania there, President Samia Suluhu is visiting Russia, making her the first president to pay a state visit to Russia since Nyerere in 1969. And in the Daily Nation this morning, the headline there, tension in schools. That's the headline. Sudden closures and multiple motives calming the tide. Suspects detained. And that is following the arson crime that took place last week at a school in Kenya. All of that in the Daily Nation for you, allowing us to also end the updates here, but also take a short break. And when we get back, it's another conversation for the morning. Just make sure that you save the number 0709 602 592, where you're able to send a WhatsApp message. But also remember to go at UBC TV Uganda, follow that handle on X, and thereon you're able to follow the conversation and contribute to the conversations here with the hashtag UBCGMU. For now, let's have a short break. We'll be right back. Good morning.
Live from UBC studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Welcome back from down memory lane, and also welcome back from yesterday's Martyrs' Day celebrations, whichever way you celebrated and from wherever you celebrated. Now, it's the 4th of June 2026. Today is the State of Nation Address Day. We'll be at Kololo Independence Grounds at 2 p.m. as His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni addresses the country on the state, addresses the nation on the state of the country, and telling us the progress of the country and the progress that we continue to make as the country. That is as informed, especially on his X handle. And it's one thing that you will be able to watch and follow through here on UBC TV. But you're welcome. You are watching UBC TV. We come to you live from the Nile Avenue. My name is Julie F. Nantaba with Robert Chirabo Nyonyitana. Robert, good morning.
Lovely morning to you, Julie, and our viewer. Thank you very much for waking up with us this lovely day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. But of course, it depends on how you view things.
Okay.
If you have a positive mindset, if you're ready to work, if you know that negative things may come your way, but there is light at the end of the tunnel if you use the right methodologies to sail through. So welcome to the show. And yesterday, as we were celebrating the 140th Martyrs anniversary, it was very unfortunate that many people are not able to celebrate the usual way, but of course for a justified cause. Now, I followed Martyrs at Namugongo.
Right.
And what was interesting, the usual traffic congestion, the deployment, the police officers had so free time. The business people, I was shocked that even when people knew that Martyrs' Day is not going to be celebrated as usual, they still brought merchandise to sell. You know, Julie, they still brought merchandise to sell. Now, already you know, we are going to have Martyrs' Day celebration. If the usual way, why would you go? And this is something that His Excellency declared quite some time back.
He did. Indeed, he did. Staying with Martyrs' Day, the Daily Monitor has runs a story there in that reads, Uganda martyrs were traitors, says Maiga.
Well, I want to look at it this way. By then, Kabaka Mwanga would view, and some people view martyrs as people who rebelled against the Kabaka. Who rebelled against the Kabaka. But you should not forget that the missionaries to come to Uganda were invited by a Kabaka of
Uganda. Yeah.
Now, one saw light and future in Christianity and civilization. The other,
so an obstacle.
An obstacle and a threat to his leadership. So that's why we can't conclude like that, because these missionaries were invited by a Kabaka of Uganda still, not so? Now, they're executed on orders. Mukajanga worked on orders of the Kabaka of Uganda.
Right.
Remember, he who invited them had them around, and their developments we see. The one who came next, who could have poor management skills, and so fearful of losing his throne, did not ask himself, but how come my father had these people present with him? So to him, he saw them as people who were disobedient, people who were a threat to his leadership, and therefore they had to be eliminated. But there is power in death, even in the Bible. Jesus, if he had not died, there wouldn't be Christianity to this magnitude. If the martyrs were not executed, we wouldn't have this magnitude. So
tax and income tax. How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
I know what Uganda needs. When General Caleb Akantwanaho retired, Salim Saleh presented his long, detailed analysis of Uganda's economy and structured recommendations for improvement in the form of the Third National Development Plan, NDP-3, to President Museveni. He laid out the kinds of problems that many Ugandans feel every day, but rarely see captured in one place. He was doing what he has done for years, breaking down the problems holding back ordinary Ugandans. He talked about distortions in factors of production, such as land conflicts that choke investment, the high cost of finance for ordinary people, the shortage of skills among youth, the slow pace of value addition, and the gap between production in the villages and the factories in industrial parks. It was the kind of diagnosis a technocrat offers when trying to get a country unstuck. The president's reply was striking in its simplicity. I know what Uganda needs. At first, to others, it might have sounded almost dismissive. But when placed in the context of 40 years of state rebuilding, economic reform, and political stability, it revealed something deeper. A belief that Uganda's path to transformation has been consistent, deliberate, and informed by lived experience rather than theory. His confidence is not based on guesswork. It's based on the journey already traveled. He always stresses that any serious revolutionary discussion about the economy of Uganda, or indeed much of Africa, should include the following questions. 1. What was the economy of Uganda like in 1900, at the dawn of colonialism? 2. What was the economy of Uganda like in 1962, at the sunset of colonialism? 3. How and what was the magnitude of the collapse of the Ugandan economy between 1971 and 1986? Idi Amin, Obote II, Okello. 4. What, therefore, was the economy of Uganda like in 1986? 5. What is the Ugandan economy like today, and why?
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. You are watching UBC TV. We come to you live from the Nile Avenue, and thank you so much for choosing UBC TV. If you started the show with us, thank you so much. And if you are just joining in, you're welcome. This is Good Morning Uganda. My name is Julie F. Nantaba. It's time for The Real, and I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono. And this morning, we're looking at the State of Nation Address. What are your expectations ahead of today's State of Nation Address? Do share your opinion to 0709 602 592. That's our WhatsApp number to which you can send, but you can also head over to our X handle at UBCTV Uganda, and the hashtag on there is at hashtag UBCGMU, and you're able to share your opinion. Now, the president did announce, or it was officially announced, that the president will be addressing the nation today, the 4th of June 2026, and on his X handle he said that he will be addressing the nation on the state of the country and the progress the country continues to make. We delve deep into that conversation as we chew on it in regards to expectations. All right, 0709 602 592. Robert, what do you think Ugandans are looking forward to being addressed?
Well, even before I go to that, I must let Ugandans know that this is not the usual addresses that the president does. Maiba Zukuru, he goes on TV. No. This, all he responds to situations. Like remember COVID-19, that is where most of the Ugandans, Nabazukuru, saw Jaja frequently coming out to give the country an update.
Right.
This one is constitutional. It is a mandate that the president is going to be fulfilling, a constitutional mandate. So this one is special because he is mandated under article, that is a 101, clause 1 of the Constitution of Uganda. Because the president delivers the State of Nation Address. And this is at the opening of a new session of Parliament.
Right.
And it is very clear on what he addresses. One, like the president said, he will address issues concerning the economy, the progress of the country, issues of national security, and governmental priorities headed into the next year. Or because we believe now a new government is in place, he's opened the parliament, and now we are going to be seeing him telling Ugandans, and the word, like the Englishman terms it, State of Nation Address. It doesn't digress, it is just telling Ugandans the state of this country. Now, what should Ugandans expect? Or what have I heard from Ugandans that they will love? Or as a Ugandan, what do I feel that His Excellency will talk about? One, corruption.
Very key.
We are coming at a time, we've not yet received any report, but we've seen strides made. The Minister of Internal Affairs, people suspended. Is it for about 6 months? We've seen former Speaker or the Speaker of the 11th Parliament, cars being taken, houses being checked into. Police have not come up with any report to tell us, but all these are efforts to curb corruption. So I know Ugandans are very eager to know the fight and what the president will talk about. Definitely, wealth creation. Ugandans are eager to know. And when I talk of wealth creation, that means job creation, empowering Ugandans with skills to create their own jobs, and financial assistance to Ugandans, because we know under the NRM government, one of the things it has prioritized is financial assistance. People get money, use, return, or some are even grants, like when we talk about the GROW project. Now, the other issue is infrastructure development. That is also another thing we expect to hear from His Excellency. Infrastructure development. We know Ugandans, we crave for roads, we crave for hospitals, we crave for this. But also the Ebola crisis.
Right.
His Excellency rightly said, let's not build an anthill. Let's not build a mountain out of an anthill. And yesterday I was watching a clip by, I think it's called Jeke Kazora, where he was saying we seem to have blown this thing out of proportion. And he was lashing at the Ministry of Health, saying, but you people, aren't we making our case so big than what it is actually is? And this is causing great losses economically. So we wait to hear the president. Is he saying, yes, let's not blow this out of proportion? Or is his emphasis going to be, please, we need to tighten bigger, giving us an update?
Right. Thank you very much, Robert. And if you're just joining in, we are talking about the State of Nation address that's taking place today at 2 p.m. What are your expectations looking forward to that State of Nation address? What do you expect to be addressed as a concern, as an update, as a progress? What are those things? Do share your opinion to 0709 602 592 by WhatsApp. And on X at UBC TV Uganda, the hashtag is UBCGMU. Good morning. It's Isaac Wanzala tuned into UBC, hoping President Museveni in the State of Nation address is tackling on the salaries of low-income earners, more so men and women in the uniform of the lower rank who are doing great work in the security of the nation. I also congratulate Honorable Lydia Wanyoto upon her ministerial position. We are proud of her. Okay, and then hoping that the president is to tackle. Okay, I think it's the same thing reiterated. Thank you so much. The other comments that are coming through, we do have, good morning, crew. I expect His Excellency the President to update on the nation, the nation on Ebola outbreak. This is Clement. Thank you, Clement, for being on the show. Good morning, Uganda. For today's State of Nation address, I expect the head of state address to address us much on our current economy and mostly updates on our current oil and how he's going to handle that Chisanja. No sleep and no corruption for this time round. This is Edson Mohanji. Good morning, Uganda. I'm Abdul Muyimbo, economist. As Ugandans, we expect to hear about the 9 pillars of development and the specific objectives. Good morning, Uganda. Mzee is going to talk about Ebola. Let's pray to God that he doesn't impose the lockdown again. This is Kamara Joseph from Chenjojo. Thank you for being on the show. We'll be reading more of your comments as the show goes on. But I love the commentary that's coming through. And therein it brings me to ask you, Robert, in your perspective. In fact, as they say, ground, do you think Ugandans follow these addresses?
It's a 50-50. The many Ugandans who follow these addresses, one, because State of Nation address concerns everybody.
It is.
Now, for example, people in the business community. And now more so at a time like this when we have Ebola. When we have few cases of Ebola, I don't even want to say. We've registered very few cases of Ebola. Not to say that we shouldn't be vigilant. But I just don't enjoy it when we seem to show it's a very, because we've been here, we've managed, look at how many people have been discharged. You know, so for me, I now want to say, when we have very few cases of Ebola, there is so much lies and fear within the community.
Right.
Whenever there are lies and fear within the community, people are eager to hear from the president. Because it's the final
leader.
So people are eager. Now today, you're going to have more people listen to the State of Nation address because they want to hear what Jaja is going to say about Ebola. Some believe won't the man wake up supposing overnight statistics are scaring, and the president and the State of Nation address brings new statistics, and therefore, so there you have many people who are listening. But also you have people in the business community who know that this address has so much that affects them. So they are willing to listen. Go downtown Chikubo, President Ayogedechi. You know? Fuel, we are at this time. People want to hear. There are those who are going to listen. Because, so this SONA comes at a time when many Ugandans want to hear from the president. Because we have challenges, global and local challenges. So many, I know, they are going to listen. Then we have the elite. those people are a problem in one way or the other, some of them. Because the elite in this country can confuse you. If there is any group that can confuse you in this country, are the elite of Uganda. What you think concerns them
Doesn't concern them to them.
doesn't concern them to them. Go to these people in the corporate world.
Yet it should. You know, you
I
remind
want to
me.
tell you, Julie,
Yeah.
you're going to find that people in Chikubo, people downtown there,
Surprisingly
people
follow.
in the bus park, people in the taxi park,
Yeah.
even wheelbarrow pushers, not that they are less of Ugandans, but they will listen. Go up country, people will listen. People will be on TV, President Yayogedechi. But the elite in this country will surprise you. They will be in saunas, so there will be some playing golf, some. Look at the voting partner in this country. You can see who are the people that vote in this country. We are going for LC elections. Go see, you go to a place, and when their chairman LC1 comes up, you ask about you people, is this your chairman? That's why I went to this that's why I went for this LC politics. Because I couldn't be having a chairman in my vicinity, a drunkard, to be my chairman. So now, the elite in this country, some of them are a disappointment.
Interesting. You remind me of, on a light note, you remind me of a statement that is usually said that people in the business community, Chikubo, you know, the hustlers, as they're termed, when you are providing a service to them, they'll pay the money you ask for, without a question, for as long as you deliver. And then the elites speak a lot of English.
A lot of English,
pay no money.
where they shouldn't.
Very interesting. We are looking at the State of Nation address that is taking place today at Kololo Independence Grounds. 2 p.m. it will be. And what are your expectations ahead of today's State of Nation address? Do share your opinion to 0709 602592 and onto our X handle at UBC TV Uganda. The hashtag is UBCGMU. Allow me, Robert, to engage some.
But before that, there's a group you've forgotten.
Which ones?
You know, over time, in my career, I've been very observant when the president is going to speak. I hope this time this group will change the way they do their things. Now, these are people who will tell you they never listened to the State of Nation, or sometimes they boycott. But guess what? You find them on radio stations, TV stations, analyzing and commenting.
What they never listened to.
Now, this time, do not fool Ugandans, neither fool yourselves.
Do they have a name? Does this group have a particular name, a docket?
They are politicians in a certain docket. I won't go into there. They will tell you, there is nothing new, we won't even bother. But then later you hear them on local radio stations and TV stations analyzing, giving a hit on the State of Nation address. Now, I think this time Ugandans will wake up. If you've not been part and parcel and following, then what are you talking about? You're discouraging people. You will see them. You will hear them. Some even look at their tweets. What do you expect? Totally this, whatever, over the years. But then after that, the same people are going to come and tweet regarding
and give
analysis of something they said had that group.
Interesting. Now, let me get into some of your comments and views. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV and following the conversation. What are expectations ahead of today's State of Nation Address 2026? 0709 602592 and at UBC TV Uganda, the hashtag is UBCGMU. Starting off with hi, good morning, Uganda. I'm Adams Lapuz. I think Papa will update us on Ebola issues. Thank you. And good morning, Uganda. Really, Muzei needs to address the nation because some of the parents have refused to take back their children to school. And some of them are delaying to pay school fees, that because they are fearing the issue of a lockdown. Thank you. I'm Brian Otim from Masindi. Interesting indeed. I expect President to address on wealth creation and no corruption, especially on government technical staff. half watching this.
To update us
Right.
and let us know where we are coming from. I know that he can't forget to do. He'll give us comparisons, because it is only when you know where you're coming from, you'll be able to analyze where you are
You're going.
and where you're going. Now, in terms of national unity, unless in the speech the president tackles topics within his speech that promote national unity. For example, we have some people that we don't know yet the report, if they were able to go through or not, that were vetted as ministers.
Yeah.
But some cling to something regarding
National
citizenship, then some say tribal and all that.
Racism,
so
yeah.
racism, this, accusing that of that. So if he comes and within the head of national address, he hints on such tendencies, says no. Like most of the times in his statements, he has mentioned of mistakes made by African leaders, previous leaders, how they looked at how they looked at tribes, how they looked at this and that. So if he hints on something within that line that promotes unity.
Right.
But if he's basically to update us about security, the economy, health, infrastructure development, you know, that in one way, because it's just to let you know as a Ugandan. So if he doesn't deliberately bring in that, then SONA is not so much meant for national unity, promoting national unity. It's meant for letting you know.
Letting you know,
The
give
state
you an
of
update.
the nation, I mean, what is going to be done, how the country is being run so far.
And how do you think success from today's address can be measured moving forward?
Well, there are things that the president will hint on. For example, if he hints on corruption, because it is him to have the set of national address. There are many times you may expect certain things to be talked about and he doesn't talk about them. It is his speech. It is him who is designing what he wants us to know. Now, whatever he says, there are promises within that. Now, we look at, have these been implemented? Remember, there is a time government is going to come out and bring various ministries on government performance. You know how they do that. MDs will come to talk about, even the NRM, there's a time it will later on, achievements of the manifesto, how far they have gone with the manifesto. So the government has a system of checking on its performance. And that's when we can look back and say that in the State of Nation address, the president talked about this. How far have we gone in terms of implementation as a country? Then we are able to know, okay, yes, we've moved. Yes, we've not moved. So it's more of promises, indicators of how government is going to be run, of what we should expect. Therefore, where there are expectations, definitely you have a yardstick to judge if they have been achieved or not.
Right. Let's, as we begin to close this, let's engage more of the comments that are coming through. Good morning, Uganda. Maxon Osuna from Tororo. I expect the president to clear the lies on social media concerning Ebola pandemic. And good morning. I don't expect anything different from him because his words are always with the same message about poverty eradication, industrialization, plus infrastructural development, but actions are less always. Nice. Robert, what would you say to the author? This is Johnson.
Well, in his view, he's right. And I want to dismiss that because that is what he sees. But people must understand development is a process. It is not like in a twinkle of an eye or a snap of a finger. It is a process. That's why when you listen to his State of Nation address 3-5 years, they may have some similarities. But you have to listen keenly and be critical. If he says from this year to this year, we've covered these kilometers. This year we're expecting to cover these kilometers of road. Now, because for you had, we've covered, you say again he's going to talk about roads. But he's giving an update of how many kilometers have been covered. He's talking of the challenges.
Right.
Contractors, we need to change contractors or something like that. When we go to wealth creation, yes, he's talked about poverty eradication. We had the Ntandikwa.
Right.
Today we have PDM, and he said to increase the money per
Indeed.
parish from 100. So they may sound similar, but development is a process.
But with different colors therein. Thank you very much. I expect him to talk about history, background of Uganda, up now on corruption as his normal state address. This is Aston from Arua. Nzomugaga Saurembo Enabweru, President Tuyambe oyogere ku nguzi eri mu ggwanga esusse. Good morning, lovely. Thank you so much for the show. This is Mubiru Patrick Jr. from Mukono. Well, I also suspect Papa will address the nation about Ebola state and security staff. Glad you serve. Good morning, Julie and Robert. I'm Cricket Derek Gagamel. Whenever President is expected to address the nation, as responsible citizens, our expectations are always issues to do with effective service delivery. You know, Imam Kasozi once said that he used to pity ignorant people, but now he envies them because they are completely not bothered with the status quo. They are free from the stress that comes with worrying how the country is dwindling. So I urge all my fellow Ugandans, regardless of the political affiliations, to always keep informed and updated. Information is power. We are deep in the village waiting for the real update from the Muzei about the fake news of closing schools Ochora Frankwell in Gulu City. And finally, I agree that development is a process and it's of course Papa's responsibility to address the nation. However, he's kind of delayed because people are in fear now. This is Patrick Steele. Thank you so much for being on the show. Bring it to our close. The conversation does continue on our X handle at UBC TV Uganda. The hashtag is UBCGMU. Up next is GMU Tourism Express. And we're having a conversation on domestic tourism and how youth can be part of this. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
I know what Uganda needs. When General Caleb Akantwanaho retired, Salim Saleh presented his long, detailed analysis of Uganda's economy and structured recommendations for improvement in the form of the Third National Development Plan, NDP-3, to President Museveni. He laid out the kinds of problems that many Ugandans feel every day, but rarely see captured in one place. He was doing what he has done for years, breaking down the problems holding back ordinary Ugandans. He talked about distortions in factors of production, such as land conflicts that choke investment, the high cost of finance for ordinary people, the shortage of skills among youth, the slow pace of value addition, and the gap between production in the villages and the factories in industrial parks. It was the kind of diagnosis a technocrat offers when trying to get a country unstuck. The president's reply was striking in its simplicity. I know what Uganda needs. At first, to others, it might have sounded almost dismissive. But when placed in the context of 40 years of state rebuilding, economic reform, and political stability, it revealed something deeper. A belief that Uganda's path to transformation has been consistent, deliberate, and informed by lived experience rather than theory. His confidence is not based on guesswork. It's based on the journey already traveled. He always stresses that any serious revolutionary discussion about the economy of Uganda, or indeed much of Africa, should include the following questions. 1. What was the economy of Uganda like in 1900, at the dawn of colonialism? 2. What was the economy of Uganda like in 1962, at the sunset of colonialism? 3. How and what was the magnitude of the collapse of the Ugandan economy between 1971 and 1986? Idi Amin, Obote II, Okello. 4. What, therefore, was the economy of Uganda like in 1986? 5. What is the Ugandan economy like today and why?
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.